he going to contribute today for Old Westbury?
This man could do it all. He is a dominant force down low. He can score from the high post and down low off from the block. He can rebound the ball really well. He loves those offensive rebounds because those create those easy second chance points for him. One of the best scorers in the SKYLINE Conference, coming in number 5 in the SKYLINE Conference and number 3 rebounder. So that kind of inside game, we'll look for that little baby jump shot. If they're able to force him into a few outside jump shots, that's exactly what YU wants to do. He gets a little too comfortable on the outside. If the YU is able to kind of bring him from the inside to the outside, that would be the perfect defense.
For anybody who's not familiar with this Old Westbury team, give me one guy, one type of thing we should look for from this squad as we go into this game in about 20 minutes, 30 minutes from now.
So Pedro Marquez, he's kind of the, they have their own big three. He's kind of the point guard of that triangle offense. He has the best assist-to-turnover ratio in the entire SKYLINE Conference, second in the league in assists. So he's the creator of the offense. If he's able to create and kind of control the tempo of the game, look for this Old Westbury team to come out and attack. They like to attack early in the shot clock, find a good shot, and take that good shot quickly. And if Pedro Marquez is on and feeling it, and what YU did really well in the first 2 games when they were able to be successful in winning in the regular season, was able to shut him down. We know he's battling a little bit of a groin injury. He's not 100% healthy. I think if YU is able to shut him down, and they will win this game. If he's able to run and do whatever he wants to do on the court, Old Westbury has a great chance to win this game.
What's one difference maker for this YU team going into this one against Old Westbury?
So I think it's Ryan Terrell. Ryan had an amazing regular season, but the playoffs is a different battle. And Simcha has the experience. Gabe has the experience. They were here last year. They know what it takes. Donnie Katz has done it many games for himself. But the freshman, there's pressure in the regular season, and then there's another added level in the playoffs. And can Ryan continue to play at this excellent level even in the playoffs when there's heightened intensity, heightened defense, and heightened pressure? With looking at the crowd's going to be filled. It's going to be an exciting atmosphere. But how is he going to rise up to the challenge? I'm looking at him to be the spotlight.
When we return, we will hopefully be joined by YU President Rabbi Dr. Ari Berman. We will see you soon. Max Stern Athletic Center. It's the YU Max against Old Westbury. We'll be back after this. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to YU Basketball. It's my privilege to be joined by the president of YU for the second time this season. We got to see you in the opening game against Sarah Lawrence. Hopefully, we will get a better turnout today in terms of the end result on the court. But Rabbi, I mean, we're here. You saw it in the beginning of the season. What's it like just having this type of energy in the building at a YU event?
That is a great depiction of this. It's the energy. You know, Yeshiva University is experiencing an enormous time of momentum, great growth right now, and the energy reflected in the Max and the excitement about the Max is just a reflection of everything that's happening here and all of the great excitement for us, for our student body, for what we're about and what we're doing.
This is now the second straight year of. Well, it's been a couple years, but particularly they won the SKYLINE Conference last year. Now this year, they're looking to go on that type of run again. So particularly with the basketball team, what has that meant for the university with the success that the basketball team has had over these last couple of years?
Well, I think the basketball team reflects and helps shape the unity around our institution and our broader community. You know, it's an amazing thing to see sports have such an incredible impact, which is a reflection of people's natural feelings. People are connected to Yeshiva University. They want to see us win. They want to see us succeed. And when the Max win, it's like their children win, their sons win. It's like they see our community winning, and everyone is excited about it, and everyone is on board to root for their great victory. But I want to say one other thing. It's not just that they're winning, it's how they're winning. Okay, when it comes to us, what's our mission? Our mission in this world is to be Makadesh Shem Shemayim Barabim. It's to sanctify God's name in the world. And what the Max do by their menschlichkeit, by their sportsmanship, you know, by davening before the game, by everyone learning a sefer together before their games, by bringing their values onto the court, into the broader world, is a fulfillment of everything that Yeshiva University is about. So it's not just that they're winning, it's the quality and caliber of the students, which is expressed in their behavior and the way they act, which is exactly, you know, emblematic of what we're doing and what we achieve in the world.
Rabbi, before we let you go, if the team wins today, there's going to be a big storming in the court. Are you going to be one of the people to run on the court?
I will certainly be one of the people to run on the court. I am excited about that, and excited after this game, perhaps further victories in the future, and to share and enjoy and celebrate together with our great team, with the Max. Elliot's doing a great job. Joe Benish, everybody who's here doing a great job. Shout out to our great Senior Vice President, Josh Joseph, who's really taken athletics and made it such a vibrant part of student life here at Yeshiva University. There's such a great student life at YU. You know, this crowd we have the Barron campus and the Wolf campus and everyone coming together rooting for the Max is a great reflection of how we're all together and united in our community and cheering on for our future. Very excited.
Rabbi, thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining us on the interview. Thank you for everything you do for the university.
Thank you.
When we return, we'll be back with the anthems and the beginning of the game. We'll see you soon.
Looking forward.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Max Live, the Max Stern Athletic Center. We have Yeshiva University taking on College of Old Westbury today for the semifinal of the SKYLINE Conference. My name is David Schwartzman. Along with me is Binyamin Zerman, and we're just about ready for game time. It's coming up soon. We're going to head to the anthems in a couple minutes, but first, Binyamin, take us through the journey of the season. What have the Max gone through so far? What kind of adversity have they had to go through, and what really got them to this point?
Yeah, I mean, they started off, with such high expectations, coming off that amazing NCAA Division III tournament run last year, and they started the season 1-5 out of the gate, losing some close games, not really being able to close, but then they turned things around. It seems, and go on a 17-game win streak, the longest in program history, the longest in all of the SKYLINE Conference this year. It seemed that they had everything under control. They had the #1 seed just one game away. Their magic number was 1 after they beat Mount St. Mary. They had 2 games to win, and they lost both of those games, and now they come in with a 2-game losing streak, losing to 2 playoff teams. They weren't bad teams necessarily, but kind of lost a little bit of that momentum. And again, it came back down to those early season struggles of closing out games. Both were very close games. The Farmingdale State game, the Max lost on a late turnover that really killed them. And it's going to be kind of, this team has so much talent. This team has met a lot of these expectations. But when you set the bar high and you keep pushing that bar higher and higher, the team faces more and more pressure. They're going to need to be able to repeat the success of last year. They need to get back to the NCAA Division III tournament and do whatever it takes to get there. It starts today, excuse me. We are a great afternoon game. It's a semifinal game, and it's going to be a great one.
The Max fans are going crazy. We're about to head down for introductions and for the national anthem, so we're going to send it out to the PA.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will all please rise for the playing of both the U.S. and Israeli national anthems. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Max Stern Athletic Center on the campus of Yeshiva University for today's Skyline Conference semifinal game between the Maccabees and the Panthers of Old Westbury. And for today's starting lineups, first for the Panthers, at guard, a 6'3" junior from Mount Vernon, New York, number 0, Justin Elaine Washington. At guard, a 6'2" freshman from Mount Vernon, New York, number 4, Chase Johnson. At guard, a 6' junior from the Bronx, number 5, Pedro Marquez. At forward, a 6'5" senior from New York City, number 24, Stanley Baker. And at the other forward, a 6'2" senior from Hempstead, New York, number 25, Alan McDonald. The Panthers are coached by Bernard Tomlin, and he is assisted by Chris Kelly, Frank Chester, Charles Coleman, and Michael Taylor. And now for the starting lineups for the Maccabees of Yeshiva University. At guard, a 6'7" freshman from Los Angeles, California, number 11, Ryan Terrell. At the other guard, a 6'3" junior from Los Angeles, California, number 20, Simcha Halpern.
Yep.
At forward, a 6'5" junior from Lawrence, New York, number 4, Gabe Leifer. At forward, a 6'4" senior from Calabasas, California, number 13, Tal Guetta. And at the other forward, a 6'4" junior from Baltimore, Maryland, number 33, Donnie Katz. The Macs are coached by Elliot Steinmetz, and he is assisted by Daniel Tamir, Joe Schwartz, and Ellie Katz. Ladies and gentlemen, Yeshiva University.
Hello everybody and welcome to YU Max Basketball. They're taking on the Old Westbury Panthers in this semifinal game. This matinee from the Max Stern Athletic Center. This isn't something we normally see, but it's a fun time, a Friday afternoon in Erev Shabbos, and we're just in for a good time.
Yes, and this is going to be an exciting game. To think about last year for a second, and the Max, the number 4 seed, they had that amazing home game to start against Mount St. Mary, where they defeated them, and then had to play at Farmingdale State and at Purchase to beat the number 1 and number 2 seed. Now they're the number 2 seed. They have that target on their back. Old Westbury has lost to them twice in the regular season. Both weren't even really close, so they're going to have that target on the back, and we'll see if they come out with more energy.
Stanley Baker, the forward, the senior 6'5", he won that one back to Pedro Marquez. And Marquez, as you said earlier on, he's accomplished a lot in his career, especially this season. And he's been huge for the Old Westbury Panthers.
Yeah, he's averaging 17 points a game, 4.5 assists. I mean, this kid can really do it all.
And Marquez tries going up with it. He sends it over to Stanley Baker to Elaine Washington. And that's just off and taken by the Macs, and to the roar of the crowd of this Maccabees faithful, and this place is going to be packed real soon. It's already almost at capacity.
Yeah, great first defensive possession, battling for that rebound. Leifer has been dominant on the boards all year, leading the Skyline Conference in rebounds, doing what he does best.
Leifer goes up with it, and those are the first points. Barry, you can give him 2.
Yes, sir. Gabe Leifer driving in, and if they do play man-to-man, look for the Macs to attack with Leifer and Terrell. Both of those can beat their one-on-one matchups no matter who Old Westbury has put on them, and that's been Old Westbury's problem all year, is they can't guard.
Justin Elaine Washington, he controls for the most part this offense, along with his buddy Pedro Marquez. Elaine Washington, the guard, 6'3", he's a junior, so he still has 1 year left in his collegiate career, as Gabe Leifer comes down with the block. And Gabe Leifer has made himself known here to this Max faithful.
Yeah, again, Gabe Leifer leading the SKYLINE Conference in blocks 2.4 per game.
Simcha Halpern, and that one with a fortuitous bounce and gets stuck on top of that hoop, and we saw that hoop play a big part in last week's game where there was a lack of use of that hoop, as in the other day against Purchase. The ball seemingly hit the pole. There was no call, and Max went on to lose their second straight and actually took them out of a first place playoff spot. But just now, it seems like the refs got that call right. It's going to be Panthers ball, 18:25 left to play here in the first.
Yeah, and that play was reviewed by the referees, and they know for a fact that anytime it hits that white pole, it will be called out of bounds.
Donnie Katz lost sight of that assignment, but he made up for it, and it's a steal from Chase Johnson. Goes up with it to no avail. They're going to call the foul on number 4, Chase Johnson, and the fans really love it. They're getting into it. 18:09 left to play.
Yeah, that's a frustration foul right there by Mr. Johnson. Missed 2 easy layups, especially that first one was a real bunny. He definitely was upset with himself, was looking for a foul call, but hey, that's on you, Mr. Johnson. You got to finish through that contact.
Old Westbury coming off a game just yesterday. That was what happened with the inclement of weather. They had to take on Sarah Lawrence yesterday afternoon. Farmingdale, the other first place team, not the other one, the first place team, they're going to be taking on, I believe, Purchase later on tonight. So those are your Final Four, and this is our first game of those Final Four matchups. And the Macs already have their 2. I think Guetta up with it. That's 2 for Tal Guetta.
Yeah, gotta love the inside passing. One of the things that you gotta watch when you have a YU big is how he passes the ball. Gabe Leifer leads the SKYLINE Conference in assists, and this kid's a center. I mean, hard to really picture. Donnie Katz does a fantastic thing.
Elaine Washington for 3. That's no good. So now Old Westbury misses their first 3 shots. And they're just going to have to try to get something going. It's a 4-0 lead for the Macs. 17:26 left to play.
Yeah, we had a loose ball fail there on Donnie Katz. One thing that this Old Westbury team does well is crash the boards. Both Alan McDonald and Elaine Washington are amazing rebounders, finishing 9th and 10th in the conference.
Pedro Marquez, air balls. Surprised we haven't heard some sort of chant for that air ball from the faithful. And, you know, these fans get into it. They're going to be a lot of fun to be around today. Hopefully we can experience later on today. It's other Rishon, so hopefully we'll get some Misha Nicholas other chants. Something that's a staple here at the Max Stern Athletic Center. It'll be Alan McDonald. This guy's someone to talk about. He's the star of this Panthers squad. From my hometown of Hempstead, New York. I'm actually from West Hempstead, but when it's good for me, I'll say that it's from my hometown. He went to high school about a couple blocks away from where I went to high school, so it's as if we grew up together. But I do like throwing that fact out. So Alan McDonald, the senior, 6'2", from Hempstead, New York. And he's just had a great production rate so far this season.
Yeah, averaging 17.6 points per game, 8.1 boards. This guy can do it all. Here he is.
And McDonald off the mark. Last game, he couldn't have it going. Chase Johnson got the rebound, and he held on to it. That's going to be something that the Macs are going to have to look out for today. They need to come down with those rebounds if they're going to want to win this one.
Yeah, Old Westbury getting a lot of extra possessions here in the early going, although they haven't been able to convert.
Chase Johnson goes up with it. No good. They've missed their first 5 shots so far. That's Old Westbury. And Simcha Halper brings it out for the Macs. 4-0. Leifer for 3. No good. That's off just a little too hard from Leifer, and the Old Westbury Panthers are in transition going back the other way. Pedro Marquez has the ball with Terrell on him. Terrell is a guy that we have to look out for here. He's been the star, maybe an MVP type candidate for this SKYLINE Conference.
Yeah, he leads the SKYLINE Conference in scoring, high up there on the assist leaderboard as well. He's my vote right now for SKYLINE Player of the Year.
Here goes Marquez, and that's off the mark, but Stanley Baker comes down with the rebound. And he puts those 2 in. It's a 4-2 lead for the Macs. 15:45 left to play.
Yep, second chance opportunities are always the best because they're easy buckets usually. That was an easy one for Mr. Baker.
Guetta faked that shot. He wasn't quite sure of himself. He sent it back out to Halpert. Leifer sends it to Terrell, but he gets fouled on his way up, and he'll head to the line for 2.
Yeah, Chase Johnson again not happy. I thought that was a good call. A lot of contact as he drove there. Good ball movement. But if you look at how this game has started for the Macs and for the Panthers set offenses have not produced any open shots, any good looks. So far they've been using the offensive rebounds as a way to create offense. The Macs plays have been working. They're a little sloppy, not necessarily running them as crisp as Coach Steinmetz would like. But that pass right there on the inside to Guetta before, and here now to Terrell getting 2 shots. That's what's creating opportunities, and that ball movement has been a staple of the Macs offense.
Terrell sings his verse. So that's now a 5-2 lead for this squad. We'd like to thank LK Healthcare and Step It Up Basketball Camp for their sponsorship today. Terrell sinks his second, and that's now a 6-2 lead for the Max. 15:30 left to play. As I said before, Elaine Washington controls that offense for Old Westbury, and there he is, the culprit once again, bringing up the ball, but gives it over to Pedro Marquez, and Pedro Marquez gets himself involved quite a lot as well. He goes up with it, and that's good, and now Marquez finding his groove. That's a 6-4 lead, for the Max.
Yeah, he always loves to go left, Mr. Marquez. He really, even on the right side, always pushes the ball to the left. They did a good job getting to the middle, stop it, and got an easy floater.
Lifer to Terrell. People are now catching wind, especially in this conference. Halpert for three. Bang! Gary, give him three.
Gotta love Simcha. That kid can shoot the ball. He's been doing it his whole career. 10th on the all-time Max, all-time leading scoring list. Over 1,000 points. This kid can shoot the ball like no one I've ever seen.
As Old Westbury has the ball, that's Andrew Buskey in the game now for Old Westbury.
First substitution we've seen so far.
And Old Westbury, as we saw the last time the Max played them, they sub pretty fast. They go right to that bench if they think that they need to. And Buskey coming in for the team. He's 5'10", the freshman from Long Beach, New York. So again, a little bit close to my neck of the woods. Maybe I could see these guys around. I like to go out to Long Beach. They have a great acai place over there. So
I
like to enjoy some
bowl.
acai. That's Terrell. 4-3. That's just short, but Lifer, as he has been doing all season, comes down for the rebound. Gives it to a cutting Terrell. Terrell goes up with it. And they're going to call the foul.
On the pass, not the shot. Pass,
on
not
the
the
pass.
Shot. I think that was a strong call there. He was looking to pass, as we have now a timeout by Old Westbury to talk things over.
Once again, we'd like to thank LK Healthcare and Camp Step It Up, two of our most loyal partners, and as we like to broadcast out here from Max Live, I was talking to Yogev last night, and he was just telling me about, what a great basketball program they've had. Some of these guys in YU, they've come from Step It Up, and it's just one of the staples now of Yeshiva League basketball, and really a place where you can increase your skills. So what have we seen so far? What can we take out of these first six or so minutes, or a little bit under 6 minutes that we've seen so far from the Max and Old Westbury?
Yeah, Old Westbury looks a little bit nervous, playing with some nervous energy. They're missing kind of shots that they should be hitting. They're not settling down, and I think this is a very smart timeout by their coach, that is Coach Bernard Tomlin, to kind of regroup, take a deep breath right here. It's only 6 minutes into the game. They've had some good looks. They just haven't been able to convert. They're getting a little bit too upset about foul calls. Foul calls will go either way, and they need to kind of get themselves organized and collected for if they want to really compete with the Max, because the Max offense has looked phenomenal as it has all year.
Binyamin, this is something that I was thinking about a lot this morning as I drove in. What kind of fatigue factor are we thinking about for Old Westbury today? They're coming off a back-to-back. This was something that the Skyline really wanted to prevent, because last week they even rescheduled games that this game was supposed to happen last night. They had already rescheduled it to today, so clearly they don't like these back-to-backs, but they forced their hand. The final winner needs to be in by Sunday night. So this is what Old Westbury, those were the cards that they were dealt. So here we are today. What's the fatigue factor for Old Westbury?
Yeah, they only used 6 or 7 guys in their last game, so then they shorted up that bench for the postseason as Hopper takes a 3.
Bang! Barry, give him 3! 12-4, Max with 13:40 left to play, and the defense chants blurred out from the crowd.
Yeah, so it's got to be hard. You had a short rotation last night. They got to come out today and play with a lot of energy, and so far they haven't brought it. The YU team looks much better so far in the early going.
Alan McDonald sent it over to Elaine Washington. Elaine Washington for 3, now trying to respond. He couldn't get it, but that bounced all the way out to the three-point line where Alan McDonald could corral it. That's now Jusky for 3. That's off the Buskey, for 3. That was off the mark, but Alan McDonald came in for the rebound. He cleaned up the mess, and that's McDonald's first 2. It's a 12-6 game in favor of the Max. 13-12 left to go here in the first. Now there's Halpert for 3. Just off the mark. That looked good from here, as you're probably able to hear the excitement in my voice. But Pedro Marquez now brings it out for the Max. 12-6, 13 left to play here in the first. Alan McDonald goes up with a fake. It's back to Pedro Marquez. Terrell on him. Stanley Baker set that pick and roll to no avail. Pedro Marquez goes up with a nice easy floater. And there's Pedro Marquez making his presence known here at the Maxter Athletic Center on this Erev Shabbos.
Yeah, and a great play there. Almost lost the ball.
Here goes Terrell. Bang! Barry He put 3 on the board for Terrell.
Yeah, and I'm noticing a lot of confusion and disorganization on the Old Westbury side. Even coming out of that timeout, the defensive assignments, calling out plays, their communication is off, and that is something that you just can't have at this point of the game. I mean, this is the SKYLINE Conference semifinals.
Here goes Elaine Washington, Talgueta guarding him. It's back over to Pedro Marquez, and Marquez has really been getting his presence known here. He already has 4 points. Only 8 minutes in, and he's the team leader so far for Old Westbury. Guetta sends it to Gabe Leifert down low with McDonald on him. He couldn't get it done, but he goes back up and blocked again. And he cleans up his mess, and he puts in 2. It's 17-8 in favor of the match.
Yeah, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Mr. Leifert not giving up on his own shot, kept going after it.
And Alan McDonald responds, but not a good enough response. That one rolls around and out, and Guetta brings it out for the Max. Gabe Leifert tries sending over to him, but Elaine Washington gets in the way. And a block from Guetta. They're going to call the offensive foul on Elaine Washington. It's going to be Maccabees ball with 11:30 left to play here in the first.
Yeah, and that's a great call by the referee. The off arm was used to push off his defender, create that space. That is an offensive foul, and although he didn't like it, that was the absolute correct call. Elaine Washington is still arguing his case down the court.
And honestly, I think that the worst part of that whole thing for Old Westbury was the fact that really got the faithful into it now. Halpern almost gets the ball taken away from Elaine Washington.
Oh yeah, his defense has been superb so far.
Back to Leifert now. Tyler Ho checks into the game for the Max. Guetta almost loses himself. That Old Westbury defense is now locking down. They've gotten their hands involved.
Yeah.
Leifert has the ball.
And those deflections will lead to steals.
Here goes Guetta. Oh, just off the mark. And it's taken back by Pedro Marquez. I feel like I've said his name thousands of times so far. It's only been about 9 minutes. There goes Elaine Washington, the under and up. No good as the Maccabees try slowing it down now. Halpert with the ball. 10:50 left to play here in the first.
Yeah, the set offense has worked so far, so they're going to wait for their shot.
Hode tried sending it to Leifert, and that goes out of bounds. It'll go back to the Maccabees. They're going to say it was off of Old Westbury.
Yeah, so Terrell and Katz came out. Hayone, number 31, and Ho now inbound to the ball, number 44 in the game.
Hayone's been a staple here. They love his size. They like putting him in. YU has slowly been increasing their size. As Leifert goes in, he puts in his 5th and 6th point of the game. And it's up to an 11-point lead here early on, so Max dominating early, 10:38 left to play.
Yeah, and Stanley Baker getting up a little gimpy as he now subs out of the game. Man, that is a truck that I would not want to get in front of. That kid is incredible.
The faithful is getting really into it here. If you're tuning in from your computer, thank you so much for joining us here on MaxLive.com. Tell your friends, tell your family. We would love to have you join us as Halpert fouls Busky there.
Yeah, and speaking of friends and family, I got some friends out in Michigan watching this game. My dad is always watching from back home, and even my fiance, she couldn't be here tonight, but she's watching, and they always give me the support I need to produce here in the booth.
I'm not sure who's watching from my end. My grandpa usually tunes in.
Okay, I like that, Mr. Gramps.
Grandpa Herb, he was a big St. John's basketball fan, and he actually knew Red Sarachek back in the day, so shout out to you, Grandpa. Thank you for all of your support. My dad might be watching, so shout out to him. And this is just a fun day to be a Jew and a fan of Maccabees. Simcha Halpert takes it away, and they're in transition. Tyler Hode has it now. He sends it to Leifert. Over to
Jeffrey Owen for
Jeffrey Owen gets involved. I didn't even realize he checked into the game, but Jeffrey Owen making his presence known, and the faithful are really excited. I'm standing up now. This is just an exciting time to be in the Max Athletic Center. 21-8, 10:02 left to play here in the first.
Yeah, and the Maccabees on the fast break. Excellent ball movement. The ball doesn't touch the ground. 1, 2, 3 passes for an easy layup. You gotta love to see that on the fast break.
And confirm my grandfather is watching, so now that I'm sure he's watching, shout out to you, Grandpa. Thank you for tuning in. And this is just so far, this is exactly what you want to see if you're Coach Steinmetz, and also if you're just a YU Max faithful fan. This is exactly what you're looking for, just kind of like a nice performance from this Maccabees team. Now, this Max team has had pretty, I don't want to say easy time, but they haven't had so much difficulty with this Old Westbury team. They beat them here handily, they beat them on the road handily. And that was kind of interesting talking about these matchups where we were kind of talking about the Max finishing in second. If they would have finished in first, they would have played Purchase or Sarah Lawrence here at the Max Stern Athletic Center. And the interesting part of that is they lost to both those teams here. Due to the fact they were the 2 seed, they ended up playing the winner of Old Westbury and
Mount St. Mary.
Mount St. Mary, excuse me. Both teams that they beat very nicely here at the Max. And so here we are in a situation where they potentially, the winner of this game goes on to play the winner of Farmingdale and Purchase. And if it's Farmingdale, they play in Farmingdale. And if it's if it's Purchase, then they'll play here at the Max Athletic Center. That would be a rematch of last year's SKYLINE Conference Championship. Shakiro Samuels now in the game for Old Westbury, and they're going to call a foul.
Yeah, that's going to be on Hayone. Tried to go straight up there, but still made a little too much contact. And although his hands were straight up, they were leaning a little bit forward as he hit Marquez, and he'll now get 2 at the line. Marquez is the second to best free throw shooter in the SKYLINE Conference. Gets to the line all the time, shoots it at an 82% clip. And I might have jinxed him right there as he misses the first.
Marquez, he's 0 for 1 on that one. And again, I've been saying Pedro Marquez's name all day, but he just deserves a lot of credit, really taking control of this offense for the Old Westbury Panthers. And this just seems, you know, from a guy who hasn't watched so much Old Westbury basketball, this is the second game I've seen of them this season. Pedro Marquez gets involved, Alan McDonald gets involved, and this is just a really nicely coached team. As Hayone goes up, and add 2 more. That's Michael Hayone out of LA. The LA native, and half the team is from LA, so it doesn't surprise us, but right now the Max are just taking care of business. 23-9, 9:15 left to play. There goes Busky, that's off, and taken back by Jeffrey Owen. Boy, what kind of influence and effect has Jeffrey Owen had on this team this season?
Oh yeah, he's a little energizer buddy, and look at that, another great pass to a big man for another easy bucket. You gotta love when this kid comes off the bench. I mean, look at the hands in the air. There is confusion on the Old Westbury side. And another third timeout now being called by the Old Westbury Panthers. The confusion and disorganization on this side is evident.
Old Westbury just trying to figure out what they're going to do here. And I spoke to Old Westbury player Leroy Samuel the last time out, and he said that they're just trying to kind of find their footing here. They know they have the pieces. They're just trying to kind of get that right equation to success. They know that they have talented players, and we see it. But they find themselves down 25-9, 8:54 left to play.
Yeah, and you know, this team has always had no problem on the offensive end. It's always been on the defensive end, getting those stops. So far, you know, they've let almost everything through. Easy buckets for the YU Max, and that's the plan to the YU Max strength. Because if you're trying to get into a shootout so you can score more points, the YU Max will beat you any day of the week. They're the leading scoring team in the SKYLINE Conference. They have the firepower both inside and out. But on the defensive end is where they've struggled a little bit. But the Old Westbury not being able to cause any stops, it's going to be really hard for them to come back in this game without defense.
And the Jeffrey Owen faithful, we've seen them here plenty of times. Last week, they brought Jeffrey, Will You Be My Valentine, a sign. It gave me a laugh, and now they made t-shirts for the whiteout. If you notice, fans, the first couple hundred fans to this one got themselves a nice white Max whiteout shirt, and we're all wearing white. We're wearing our White Max Live shirts. So if you do plan on coming, you can score yourself one of those shirts. It looks like they have not given them all out yet, so if you have a couple extra minutes to drive on down here, it's a nice environment, a nice energy, and it's a 25-9 lead. It's Busky inbounding in for the Old Westbury Panthers.
Oh yeah, there's no better way to bring in Chavez than a little Max basketball.
You know, we have a little time now. I just want to give a couple of thank yous. You know, we're winding down our coverage of Maccabees basketball for the season. I want to give a big shout out to Joe Bednarz, the athletic director. He is a pleasure to work with, alongside an absolute professional, an absolute gentleman, and has some of the best meetos I've ever and mention height I've ever seen of anybody. So just a big shout out to Joe Bednarz, and he's going to kill me for this. But a big shout out to our vice president. He's going to be leaving us after this year, and I don't know what we're going to do without him, but Justin Safier, he's put in the work. And talk about a guy that's dedicated to what he does, Justin Safier. Thank you so much for what you've done for Max Live, but we're going to be continuing ourselves next season, so be sure to tune in. We hope you enjoy all the improvements we've made to Max Live, you can thank Justin for that as well. A lot of what we've done here on the site has to do with Justin Safier and his knowledge for the technology of the streaming.
Yeah, and we had there Lane Washington kind of came up and down holding the ball, but the ball was deflected by Max Play, and that's why it was a jump ball, not a traveling violation, but because the Maccabees had the possession, they got the ball.
Donnie Katz, he sometimes takes that occasional three, and Terrell goes up with that little hook move of his, but it doesn't work, and he's now heading to the line for the third time this game. Terrell hasn't gotten going so far this game. What does he need to do to find his footsteps?
Well, he's just got to, play within his game. This Max offense is very free-flowing. There's no one guy who needs the ball in his hands on every possession. As the point guard, he's got to continue to run pick and rolls because that's where he really strives and thrives on the pick and roll game because he's an amazing passer and he can finish both over bigger defenders when he's able to take them to the outside and small defenders, as we just saw, bullying them down low.
Terrell with that silky smooth touch of his on those foul shots, and just as spoke a little bit too soon, he misses his second. Still looked silky smooth.
Just didn't go in the basket.
Just didn't go into the basket, and Alan McDonald's going to try to make his presence known. Goes in, and it's good, and that's his fourth of the night. 26-11, Max still with that commanding lead, 7:59 left to play.
Yeah, and if you lose track of Mr. McDonald, he has an A and an M tattooed to the back of his leg, so you'll be able to find him by just looking at those beautiful calves.
Tal Guetta with the ball, gives it to Halpert. Halpert sends it on down to Michael Hayone, who gives a little cut backwards pass to Terrell, but they're going to call the play dead. I believe that was a foul on Samuels from Old Westbury.
Yeah, I think they're clarifying now.
Once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors for the day, LK Healthcare, as well as Camp Step It Up. Thank you for your kind contributions.
And now we have another off-ball foul. That's going to be the 7th one. So now we got free throws coming for the Max. The rest of the way with 7:42 left, it's going to be 1-1 until the 10th foul, and then we move over to 2 shots.
Gabe Leifer making his presence known so far. He's got 8, and that's accounted for just about a third of what the Max have done so far today. And it seems like whatever Coach Steinmetz planned for today is going their way so far. We don't want to jinx anything, but so far so good for the Max as Terrell hits another shot. And good players kind of comes down to a point. You see with James Harden. I'm not necessarily comparing Ryan Terrell to James Harden, even though maybe you can make the case for that. Probably not. But good players find themselves.
The beard is definitely still a little bit weaker on Mr. Terrell.
The beard isn't there, but kind of that same way. That's his 5th of the night, but kind of that same way James Harden finds himself being fouled. Ryan Terrell, that's I believe his 4th trip to the foul line so far this game. So just Ryan Terrell making his presence known in this SKYLINE Conference. Elaine Washington has the ball for Old Westbury, sends it over, but Ryan Terrell takes it back, and here we go. There goes Terrell! 2 hands and in. Barry, give him 2.
Mr. Terrell getting the whole crowd on their feet, throwing it down with authority.
And that's going to get the faithful into it now. It's 30-11. That's a 19-point lead. Here goes Chase Johnson. That's in and out. Taken back by Elaine Washington. He goes up with it. That's no good. A lot of misses from Old Westbury. And they'll call the foul on the Max. That's going to be Guetta taking, I'm not sure how many fouls that is for Guetta, but I believe that's been more than 1 foul for Guetta, so he has to be careful.
Yeah, and foul trouble has, when you have depth, foul trouble was definitely a problem in past Max teams when they only had a short rotation. But because of the deep bench that Elliott has, he has no problem subbing guys out if they do get into that trouble.
And Chase Johnson, another miss, so that's just been miss after miss for Old Westbury today. They got to try to find a groove here with 6:53 left to play.
Yeah, not a very good 3-point shooting team. Shooting 32% as a team doesn't get you, you need 3-pointers to get back in the game, but that is definitely not how this team plays well.
Terrell turns the ball over. Alan McDonald goes up and 1. And maybe that's the type of energy that this Old Westbury team is going to need to climb themselves back into this one.
Yeah, and Coach Steinmetz not happy with that foul as Guetta is now being subbed out. He's claiming that he went straight up. But Jeffrey Owen now coming back to the game as well as Gabe Leifer. Guetta throwing his sweatband in disgust with that call.
30-13, and we've seen the Max put up 100 points several times this season. That's kind of what this game is feeling like with 6:42 left to play here in the first. McDonald, no good, but the whistle was blown.
And the rare lane violation is called. That's almost as rare as finding a white tiger in the wild. Those lane violations happen almost every free throw, but are rarely called by the referees.
And I'm not sure if your brother's tuning in, but Finding rare tigers, white tigers in the jungle, is that the kind of thing he's up to right now?
You know, he's been traveling throughout Asia, and you know, it's a wild and crazy country and continent. So I'm not sure exactly what he's been doing. I haven't seen any pictures of lions, but if he does see any, I am sure he will send me some.
Donnie Katz with force goes up with it. You can give Donnie 2. Yeah. Put 2 on the board for Donnie. It's 32-13 with 6:20 left to play here in the first.
Love that lefty little hook. A beautiful post move by Mr. Katz.
Here goes Alan McDonald up for 3. That's no good. Again, that 3 points, not something Old Westbury's known for, and he went up for it, and another miss from Old Westbury. Simcha Halper with a nice fake. Goes up. That's good! And YU with a commanding 21-point lead with 6 minutes left to go here in the first, and the defense chance start coming out again.
Yeah, and one thing, when you crash the offensive glass, it is imperative that you get back on the defensive end. You had 2 Old Westbury guys there trailing the play because they chased the offensive rebound too hard, didn't come up with it, and they created the easy advantage for YU on the other end.
Alan McDonald goes up, no good. Terrell comes down with it, and he's going back in with force. There goes Jeffrey Owen, tries giving it, but they're going to call a travel on Owen, and that's kind of that rookie move we like to talk about. Just a little bit unseasoned, a little bit raw talent from Jeffrey Owen, but he's really going to turn into something special, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. He's got a lot of energy, a lot of heart that he plays with. There, he's got to go with a little more confidence. He had the fast break. You know, draw some contact, try to get a foul. Don't try to pass that ball away. I mean, you were on a fast break, my friend.
As the stands are really full right now, it's looking great. It's packed here at the Max. 5:37 left to go here in the first. 34-13 in favor of the Max.
Tyler Ho now picking up full court. Love to see that pressure. Forcing Marquez to the right. He loves to go to the left, so that's exactly what Coach Steinmetz had dialed up to defend him.
Elaine Washington, and now in the hands of Pedro Marquez. 4-3, that's good. And it's an 18-point lead now, 34-16. In favor of the Max.
Yeah, and if anyone's going to shoot threes on this team, it's going to be Marquez and Johnson. They're the only 2 leading 3-point shooters on this team.
Lifer down to Jeffrey Owen, and he kind of made himself seem like he was 6'7" on that play. Elaine Washington goes up for the ball, for that shot. There's going to be a foul on Jeffrey Owen. That's his second.
Yeah, he had a great bucket on the other end, but then had to trail the play. A good defensive team there would have transferred that responsibility over to let him pick up one of the trailing players instead of the lead ball handler there. Jeffrey Owen came flying in there. Man, that kid can really sky.
Back to a 20-point lead for the Max. And again, Jeffrey Owen is that type of guy that you just really enjoy watch play. He brings he brings his own fan group with him. They made the shirts, as I mentioned before. And then they kind of just create this nice atmosphere here in the Max Stern Athletic Center.
And that's something special when you have a guy coming from the out of town. You know, he doesn't necessarily have his family around to come watch him play. But when you have your friends cheering on for you, that sometimes could be even better.
Elaine Washington hits that one, hits both. And now it's a 36-18 lead for the Max, 4:55 left to play.
A little bit of press by Old Westbury, easily broken up by attacking through the middle.
Gabe Lifer, 4-3! Barry, give him 3!
Love to see the big man extend the floor. I mean, how are you supposed to guard that? He can take it to the rim. He can shoot it from 3. He is an unstoppable force, and SKYLINE Conference has not yet figured out how to guard him.
Buskey has the ball now for Old Westbury. 4:30 left to play here in the first half. 39-18 in favor of the Max. And that's almost taken away from Lifer. And it is eventually taken away by Halpert. Now Tyler Hode has a little trouble with it, but he regains possession, and it's back over to Lifer. Lifer now sends it up to Hode. Hode gives it back to Lifer. He's at the top of 3. Donnie Katz sends it to Halpert. Halpert, 4-3. Just a little bit wide. Didn't go in. And now Old Westbury has the ball. 39-18 left to play. That's Pedro Marquez. And he misses. Another miss from Old Westbury. It's Max ball again. 3:56 left to play here in the first. Here goes Simcha Halpert, 4-3. That one's good. Barry put 3 on the board for the Max.
Yeah, Simcha's come out firing. He's had that playoff experience. He knows what it takes. And man, has he been bringing it all night. That kid's on fire.
Defense chants coming out from the crowd. Pedro Marquez has the ball for Old Westbury. He's trying to get his team back into it. Elaine Washington goes up with it, and that's good. And makes the 22-point lead, 42-20 with 3:28 left to play.
Yeah, that little baseline jumper, something that Elaine Washington likes going to.
And a nice cut pass from Hode over to Halpert, but they're going to call the travel on Halpert. And it'll go back to Old Westbury ball with 3:20 left to play.
Yeah, sometimes hard when you're catching to make sure your feet don't slide there. Simply clearly does not agree with the call, but I did see a little bit of slip and slide of his feet right there, and that's why he got the traveling call.
Busky brings out the ball for Old Westbury. Pedro Marquez has Terrell on him. He's looking to cross half court. It is a fun atmosphere here in the Max Stern Athletic Center.
Yeah, and notice whenever Marquez has the ball, how far to the left the defender is, forcing him to the right.
Old Westbury goes up, and it's no good, and Leifer, comes down with that rebound. That was Nicholas Gamarez coming into the game. We saw him a lot last game, and now he's making his presence. Here goes Halpert for three! Yes! Barry, give him three! It's 45-20 with 2:44 left to play here in the first.
And the three-point shooting for the Max has set them apart this game. They are absolutely on fire. I have already called the fire department.
And it's taken back by Leifer. And it's Max ball again, 45-20 with 2:30 left to play. Here goes Terrell. He's driving. He goes up. And that's no good, but it's rebounded and kicked out to Terrell. 4-3. Oh, just off. Taken back by Donnie Katz. Donnie Katz now goes up with it, and he's fouled. And the fans love to see it. He's going to head to the line. 2:19 left to play. 45-20 in favor of the Max.
Yeah, two offensive rebounds there, creating opportunities. An open three for Terrell couldn't fall. Another great follow by Mr. Katz, and now he's rewarded with 2 shots from the free throw line.
In the event that we go to a championship on Sunday, you're going to have the privilege of hearing, I'm announcing this live on Max Live, who we're going to be hearing on Sunday. It's going to be at one of our all-time favorites, Yoshua Siegel, the TABC alum, featuring Sammy Katz on the color. So it's going to be a fun day. Regardless, we will be covering that game, whether it's here or whether it's away. We will be on the call, so you can tune in to MaxLive.com on Sunday. If the Max are in that game, you will be able to see them on MaxLive.com. Donnie Katz missed his first, but then he hits his second. And it's taken back by the Max. Terrell goes up with it. That's no good, but it goes right back to him. He goes up with it again. No good again. So Ryan Terrell kind of missing that touch today. What does he have to do to get himself back into it to find that touch?
Well, you know, the easy buckets are the ones that kind of can get you going. He's had a few of those. The shooting hasn't been there, but hey, so far the Maximies have been on fire without him, and his teammates have picked up the slack.
There goes Busky for 3, and that's off. I believe that Old Westbury has yet to hit a three-pointer today, and it's going to be YU ball again. They're up by 27 with 1:51 left to play here in the first.
Yeah, and this half could not have gone any better for the Max so far, dominating on both ends of the court. Old Westbury looks confused and out of sorts right now, and halftime could not come sooner for them. It's a 27-point game. They need to start chipping away at this lead if they want this team even be close in the second half.
And they're going to call the offensive foul on Gabe Leifer. I think that was a good call from the refs.
Yeah, and that's going to be his first, so no big deal there. But, you know, his elbows were a little high and didn't exactly know what he wanted to do with the ball. And that kind of confusion allowed the Old Westbury to slide in and draw the offensive foul.
Alan McDonald to inbound into Samuels. Shakiro Samuels, the guard, 5'11". He's freshman from Mount Vernon, New York. And he's seen a lot of minutes here from Old Westbury. And from what I've seen from the last time the Max played Old Westbury to today, we've seen some new faces.
Yes, we have.
We didn't see Samuels as much. And we saw a lot more, to be honest, we saw a lot more Stanley Baker get involved in the last game. There goes Stanley Baker, just as I mentioned him, and he puts in 2.
That's an easy jump shot. You know, he's the big guy. He's been responsible for battling down low with the bigs. So far, if I had to say, he's lost that battle. He's got to come back a little stronger here at the end of the first, into the second half.
Halpert sends it to Terrell down low. Terrell looking for what he's going to do. He goes up with it, and that's a nifty move from Ryan Terrell, and Barry can give him 2. That's a 49-22 lead for the Max with 1:02 left to play here in the first.
Yeah, that's a veteran move right there. Using the rim to defend against the block shot. Faked on the right side, jump back to the left, and beautiful touch to get that to fall.
Alan McDonald back at the Stanley Baker, and almost on cue, he hits his 6th of the game. So just as I was saying, we want to see more Stanley Baker involved. There he goes, 4 points in just under 30 seconds, and we're in the last minute of the play here in the first half. It's 49-24 in favor of the Max. Gabe Leifer with the ball. He's looking at his options on the court. He gives it to Simcha Halpert. Over to Terrell, who was cutting. Terrell with Elaine Washington on him. He loses his dribble and gives it over to Donnie Katz to Halpert. Halpert back to Leifer for 3. Yes! Barry, give him 3. That's Gabe Leifer, and he has surely made his presence known here in this first half.
Back the other way come Old Westbury, getting a two of their own, but it just hasn't been enough of that on their end. The easy buckets, the bad defense, it's not done it.
Here goes Leifer for three, and it's another one! Barry giving three again! The check-up's no good! And the Macs are going to head to the half with a commanding 29-point lead. It's 55-26, and these fans are going nuts. It's a good time to be a fan of the YU Maccabees. When we return with the second half and halftime show, we will see a lot more of what this Macs team has to offer. We'll be back soon after this.
What makes a hero?
I think Yeshiva University.
Our amazing neighbors here in Washington Heights.
This past Sunday, Yeshiva University won their first ever SKYLINE Conference Championship.
We play for the Jewish people. There's nothing better than that.
Players wore warm-up shirts with the 11 names of those who lost their lives.
Leila Nishmas, Ari Fold, Hashem Yikom Damo.
You're going to need newsprint and charcoal to start.
For you are the leaders of tomorrow. You are our future.
I was first introduced to computer science in high school, and before that I had very much been in the STEM fields. I was always into my math classes, I was always into my science classes. Computer science permeates so many different fields and so many different industries, and what I see in computer science is just an incredible potential to use it for social good. This past summer I worked at Microsoft Research New York. The goal of the research over the summer was to try to see if we could predict which students were at risk of dropping out of school, and at the end of the summer we were able to present our findings to the New York City Department of Education.
Many of our students are exceptionally bright. They could be studying at any of the top computer science programs. They are studying here at Stern because they get the computer science, they get the preparation for the real world from professors who come from the real world and are still working in the real world. And they get all the magnificent Torah that's available to them as part of the education at YU.
One of the biggest computer science events that happens at Stern is the Invent YU Hackathon. What it is like a 24-hour event where students can come together and they work in teams, and they spend 24 hours writing code and coming away with a completed project. So it's a very cool opportunity to learn new skills and to have fun with friends in a positive computer science environment.
Our students are sought after by the local and national businesses. Our students are getting internships and employment in places like Google, Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, BlackRock, Palantir. These employers come to Stern because they know that they can find a large number of well-educated women computer scientists who are ready for jobs in industry.
Computer science in general is such a growing industry, and it's such an exciting industry, and it's so important and so valuable that Stern has a department that can prepare women to be involved in such a cutting-edge industry.
My story started with a letter in the mail. I took my first steps in New York and felt the energy all around me.
I connected with my Rebbe on the first day of Shir.
My story was learning that the mitochondria is more than just the powerhouse of the cell.
I made my painting from scratch, really from scratch.
My roommates came here from 4 different countries. We lit one menorah together.
My story was practice every night.
Chavruta every night.
Subway rides, city lights.
In my story, my name was in the headlines.
The bylines.
The University Museum.
My story was my internship at the Supreme Court.
Dancing with the Israeli flag in Times Square.
My story was participating in the only hackathon, not on Shabbat.
The Career Center found me my first job at a top business analytics firm.
My story was becoming best friends with my chavruta.
And holding that NCAA trophy.
My story started here.
My story is just beginning.
We visited Google, Facebook, Mobileye. Right now we're in Bar-Ilan University.
I think it's incredible to send students here. At the end of the day, the future of the Jewish people is going to be in Israel. And we are changing the world. By linking YU students with that future, it's going to be very productive.
YU is really the bridge between Torah and tech. The educational institution is the primary place where we build our next leaders. And that's what YU is, that's what Stern is.
By giving me the opportunity to go on this trip, YU has prepared me for my future goals in the high-tech workforce.
For YU to have the students here, working towards their mission in companies that really want to make the world a better place, and not just for the Jewish people, but for all people, I think it's incredibly important.
And welcome back to the Max Student Athletic Center. Here the Max have a 29-point lead after the first half. And looking at this box score, you know, some numbers jump out to you. Gabe Leifer has 17 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists in that first half. 7 for 10 from the field, 3 of 4 from the three-point line. Man, was that kid hot to start the game. He has done an incredible job so far, taking control. He's been helped by Simcha Halpert, 4 for 7 from 3. He has 14 points himself. And Ryan Terrell, 5 of 6 on the line, and that's how he's been getting his 12 points. Struggled a little bit from the field, only 3 for 7, but that big three right there, combining for 43 of the Max 55 points. They have led the way. And if you look at the big three for the Old Westbury Panthers, you know, we had Alan McDonald, their leading scorer, only has 6 points. Elaine Washington, their second leading scorer, 4. And Pedro Marquez has had a nice game with 8. But that 18 points compared to the 43 of the Max is the difference right here. The big three of the Maccabees has shown up today, and they have guided them. And, you know, you look at the offense, and you've been impressed by that. But what really stuck out to me has been the defense of the Max. I mean, the Old Westbury shooting 32% from the field, 11% from 3, 1 for 9 from the three-point land. That has not been their strength. They've been forced to do things that they're not used to doing, being down so many points. They've, they've cleaned up the rebounds. You know, they did allow a few too many offensive ones to start the game, but they've done a much better job cleaning that up. And on the other side, Old Westbury looks absolutely lost on the defensive end. They couldn't tell you your right and your left, who's guarding who. They're pointing at each other. They haven't figured out yet how to perfectly defend this Max team, and it showed in the first half. And as I look here into the second half, the Max have to just keep doing what they're doing. They've been doing great, but Old Westbury needs to make some huge adjustments, especially at the defensive end. Let's see if they can string 3 to 5 stops together and see if the offense will follow up. And now I am joined back by my colleague David Schwartzman. David, how we doing?
Benjamin, it's good to be back. And to be honest, I've been getting so excited here. I've just about lost my voice. So I'm trying to preserve what I have left in me.
If you need me to scream bang, I have no problem doing that.
Regardless of if I want to or not, as Chase Johnson goes up with that shot, that's no good. So regardless of if I want to or not, it's going to happen. So, so it doesn't matter much. It's kind of out of my control at this point. I'd like to, as we transition back into this game, welcome back. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to particularly thank our sponsor, Step It Up. They've been developing players for 10 years, and this is the 8th year of their sleepaway camp. And there are players on this team particularly that have gone to Step It Up. They're located at the College of New Jersey, just 90 minutes out from all the major New York, New Jersey markets. It's for grades 4 through 12, boys and girls. And there are options for 2 to 8 weeks available. If you want to learn more, you can call 888-600-0908. You can email office@campstepitup.com, and you can log on to timetostepitup.com. 19:38 left to play. The Macs are up 55-28. Donnie Katz has the ball, and that's a guy that occasionally you'll see a three from, as Talagueta tried going up, but Chase Johnson rejected him on that attempt.
And we see more confusion as Old Westbury is communicating now a little bit more, but still, you know, coming out of the half, you'd expect them to be a little bit more organized. Again, pointing fingers and figuring out who is the problem is on, and now that is the fourth foul on Chase Johnson. He's their second best three-point shooter, so that's going to be a big miss if he has to be taken out right now.
Guetta sinks his first.
It was good to see Allen Washington got his, got going on the other end with an easy 2 free throws. That brings his total up to 8. He's going to need to play a big second half. He's averaging 17 points a game. He's well under that right now.
As
Guetta hits the second as well.
Guetta hits his second. It's 57-28 in favor of the Macs. 19:22 left to go as we get started in this second half. Elaine Washington, Guetta guarding him. He sends it over to Stanley Baker. Baker gives it over to Marquez for 3. No good. As it came down in a big, it looked like a truckload heading into an ongoing passenger, but Gabe Leifer and Justin Elaine Washington with a big collision there, and Elaine Washington finally gets up to the applause of the crowd.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's just a little shaken up, nothing serious. Both of them looking okay, telling their coaches they can stay in. I think Elaine Washington got the worst of that one. Hey, if I was playing against Gabe Leifer, I would not stand in that kid's way. I mean, that's like getting run over by a rhinoceros.
Ball sent into Leifer. He has 17 points so far this game. He's just making his presence known thus far. Halpert to Terrell. Terrell looking for his option, sends it out to Halpert, who's called for the travel. Little stutter step there, and James Harden gets away with it, but Simcha Halpert doesn't. It's going to be Old Westbury ball with 18:54 left to play here in the second.
It's got to be the beard. I think if he had the beard, he would get away with that. They both are lefties, and they both have a similar shooting motion, so I hear the reference.
The real big part of this season so far for the Macs is that production that they've gotten from their three amigos, as I called them in the first game, as Alan McDonald faked on Leifer, but those three guys, the Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, I think I referred to them in that first game we called together. You know, Leifer had 17 in the first half. Simcha Halpert had 14, and Terrell quietly had 12 himself, so they're all in double digits points, and that's just the name of the game for this Macs team, as Elaine Washington hits a three-pointer. Seems like that's the first one of the game for him.
Yeah, second one so far, as Marquette had the other one for the Old Westbury Panthers.
Gabe Leifer in on Al McDonald. He sends out to Donnie Katz, and that's that occasional three we see from him. That's no good. Donnie Katz got a little excited there, and we see, I talk to his dad a lot, and I say, I love seeing that occasional Donnie Katz three, and that was that attempt there, but it was no good. It's Old Westbury ball, 17:51 left to play here in the second. Pedro Marquez gives it up to Al McDonald, who's driving. He goes in. They're going to call the foul on Al McDonald, excuse me, so he's going to get called for the offensive foul, and it's going to go back the Macs way, 57-31. Macs trying to take care of business here in this Skyline Conference semifinal.
Yeah, makes up for the air ball on one end, withdrawing the charge on the other. Gotta love giving up the body for the team.
Here goes Donnie Katz. He gives it over to Terrell. Terrell to Leifer with Alan McDonald on him. Here goes Halpert, that step back into the three zone. We see that a lot from Halpert, where he kind of gets the ball and jumps right back in the three-point line as Donnie Katz goes up with it. A nice nifty move. Barry can give him 2 for that. 59-31, and his dad is just, he sits to the right of us. Mr. Katz, a acclaimed college basketball coach himself. Talking to him before the game, he just loves YU basketball, and he loves coming to these games. He comes all the way from Baltimore sometimes. As Elaine Washington goes up with it, and Halpert gets called for the foul. But Donnie Katz has made quite the impact on this team for the YU Maccabees this season. He plays big, junior, so he's going to be back next year, and a lot of this team is going to be back next year. So.
Yeah, and that's the exciting thing that's been happening here, is that they're really building something special here. It's not just seniors contributing, but you guys have freshmen, sophomores, and juniors all doing their part.
Andrew Buskey hits that one. Buskey started on the bench, but eventually found himself playing big minutes in this game.
Yeah, Chase Johnson's been dealing with some major foul trouble, and
as Buskey, he was at the line for 3, so he hit his first 2. Jeffrey Owen checks into the game for the Max as Terrell's going to take a seat. His parents sitting right in front of us. That's always a pleasure, having the Terrells, Mr. and Mrs., sitting in front of us.
Some of the most adamant fans here in the crowd, always excited.
Buskey hit his 3, and Leifer brings up the ball for the Maccabees. They're up by 25. 16:59 left to play, and they're going to try to hold on and make what would be their second straight SKYLINE Conference Championship as Ryan Terrell gets himself on the board this half. That's 2 points for Terrell, 61-34 in favor of the Max.
Yeah, and the defensive stops just have not been there yet for the Panthers.
Here goes, that was Nicholas Gamarez. That's a 3-point for them, so now they're kind of finding that 3-point touch, are the Panthers.
Yeah, and not something that they're known for, again, just a 32% three-point shooting team, but when push comes to shove and you need some three-pointers, sometimes the big guys got to step it up.
Foul called on Nicholas Gamarez on Donnie Katz. That's his first. Team's third of the half. 61-37, 16:26 left to play, and you can kind of just feel it in this building. This place is ready to erupt for what could be this school's second straight conference championship appearance. Terrell tries going in with it, but he gets stripped by Marquez. There goes McDonald with that brute force of his, and he gets fouled on his way up, and he's going to head to the line for 2.
Yeah, that's going to be on Leifer. Doesn't look like a lot of contact, but sometimes when you got those big bodies and they come crashing into each other, the contact can be exaggerated a little bit. Washington's done a good job of getting himself to the line. Sorry, McDonald has done a good job of getting himself to the line so far.
16:15 left to play here in the second half. It's 61-37 in favor of the Max. As chants are starting to erupt, Jack Terrell leading them for the Max faithful. He joined us on the broadcast last week. That was a load of fun.
Yes, it was. And
I believe you were with him on that.
I was. But now we get to see a little bit of chipping away as we were talking about. It's not going to happen just in one possession. But now with this free throw, Old Westbury is down just 22 points.
So Old Westbury trying to inch their way from what was at one point a 29-point deficit. It's now down to 22. As YU is going to try to increase that lead and give themselves that safety net that they always look for. They just last weekend's purchase, they thought they had a nice, comfy 12-point lead, and they obviously inevitably would end up blowing that as they missed that one. And here goes Pedro Marquez, gives over to Elaine Washington for 3. That's just off the mark, taken down by Jeffrey Owen, who's going fast in transition. He gives it to Gabe Leifer. Gabe Leifer to Terrell. Terrell goes up with it, and that was really pretty, but no good. The Leifer comes for the rebound. Back to Terrell. Terrell tries to run, and he's going to get fouled, and that's going to get the crowd going. As Terrell is going to head to the line. Once again, it seems like he's set all, it seems like he kind of made his address in that foul line.
Yeah, and but as we said, his shot might not be falling, but battling hard down there. There's a lot of contact on some of those Maccabee attempts right there. Only the third one drew the foul call there. But now Ryan Terrell headed to the line. He's one of their best free throw shooters, so they're happy about that. Gotta love the effort, though. The second chance is creating more opportunities for the Maccabees.
As Terrell, that silky smooth shot I was talking about earlier, doesn't work for him. 15:36 left to play. 61-39 in favor of the Maccabees.
Missing both at the line could be just as bad as a turnover, though. He hits the second, so I take that back.
Terrell, that's his third point of the half. Pedro Marquez has been that spark plug for Old Westbury so far today. He's done a lot in his contributions, and that's over to Samuels, but that's off. Excuse me. That was Gamarez.
Yeah, and we see Old Westbury trying to force some threes. Again, not their strength, but because of the score, they need to be taking a lot more three-pointers. And so far, had some early success, and now they've gotten a little bit cold.
Terrell has the ball. He's at 3. We see a lot of that offense produced from 3. And here goes Leifer for 3. Yes! Barry, give Gabe Leifer 3.
Yeah, and this kid has continued to produce. That is his fourth three-pointer. He is 4 for 5 from the line. He is efficient. He shoots it when he's open. And dang, can that kid shoot the ball.
Those were points 18, 19, and 20 for Gabe Leifer. as that's taken back. A bad shot from Gamarez leads to a turnover, and now the Maccabees in transition. Ryan Terrell looking to drive. He goes up, and that's easy for Terrell. That's his 5th point of the half. It's now 67-39. Max back up with that 28-point lead as they're trying to put this one to bed. Here goes Alan McDonald. He goes up and tries dunking. That was quite the fascinating play, if you ask me. He tried dunking, doesn't go in, but he gets the bounce. And, and he's going to go to the line.
You know, I've done that many times, kind of go up with one hand, pretending like I'm dunking. Rarely does the ball ever go in like that. You know, I think he was helped by the contact, maybe got a little lucky. That kid did not look like he was anywhere near dunking the ball.
He surely did not look like he was going to dunk it, but he got up pretty fast. A big guy is Alan McDonald, but he can surely move as he hits that free throw, and now it's 67-42. The lead cut to 25.
Yeah, he is definitely a well-built guy. I kind of think of him as like a little muscle hamster.
Terrell going in, puts it up, no good. And he's going to head to the line once again for 2 shots. Gabe Leifer, though, even after the first half was already had his double-double locked down. He had 17 and 14 in the first. That's 14 rebounds. And, I mean, this guy just transitioned from last year, more of a shooting type of player. This year he's really been playing big. And it seemed like they had to learn that early on. It seemed like a little bit of those first couple games, the trouble that they had in those couple games kind of came from the fact that they kind of did not have their identity yet from their big 3.
Yeah, and kind of let me just throw some stats out here just to show what kind of season Gabe Leifer's had. He is, first in the conference in rebounding. He's first in the conference in assists per game. He is 6th in the conference in scoring. He's 2nd in the conference in field goal percentage, 1st in blocks, and 3rd in steals. I mean, this kid can really do it all. He is an incredible, incredible athlete, and he has put it all together this season.
Terrell hit his 2 at the line, but Leifer just kind of elevating his game and transitioning his game into what this team really needed, and some would say that's what attributed to that big run that they had, that 17-game win streak that they experienced. And Gabe Leifer was the focal point of that run for the Maccabees. It's Andrew Buskey putting up a shot, and that's good. That will be his 5th of the half.
Good defense there by Owen, though. Just kind of hit a better shot.
69-44, 13:40 left to play, as that was a little bit of an errant pass from Owen, and now Stan Baker puts one in emphatically, and it's cut to a 23-point lead. They've been back and forth between from that 20 to 30-point range, and no one thinks to get dicey here. 13:22 left to play. Maccabees with a commanding lead. They're going to try to shut it out. It's Terrell.
Yeah, don't let that kid dribble again. I mean, that was some of the ugliest dribbling I have seen in a while, though he did get lucky that there was no one in front of him.
Leifer has the ball, sends it over to Guetta. Guetta with Elaine Washington on him. Now Terrell has it. They're trying to find what they're going to end up doing. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Leifer puts it up. That's good! Wow! Gabe Leifer! Holy smokes!
And on the anniversary of some of the greatest miracles we have seen, I mean, I cannot believe that shot went in. An incredible shot, and when you're feeling it, you're feeling it.
Pardon my French back there, but I haven't seen anything like that in a long time, and I was trying to preserve my voice a little bit, but you can hear it coming out more. But that was just a fun moment for Gabe Leifer and the Max fans here at the Max Stern Athletic Center, and that really got these fans going. That was something fun to watch, as Buskey's going to be called for the foul there. But that was cool. That was a nice shot by Leifer.
Almost impossible. Shot clock running down. The defender in perfect positioning. I mean, you saw the reaction. That was just almost impossible to hit. And shocked that went in, as we now have a timeout, Old Westbury.
These fans are just having a good time here today. And so are we. It's just a fun day to be at the Max.
Yeah, and it's a 26-point game. So the Max, they still have that a nice cushion, and as long as it doesn't get any closer than 20, I think they're going to be very happy with how they play today.
Once again, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. It's Maccabees basketball, brought to you by Max Live. Thanks to our sponsors LK and Camp Step It Up. But this is a fun day to be a Maccabees fan, and we're just greeting Shabbos in a pretty fun way.
Yeah, this is strong as we start hearing some Misha Nichlas Adar chants coming from the crowd.
So we'll just let you guys kind of take that one in. It's something that has become a staple here at the Max Stern Athletic Center, and it's fun to hear it, especially when they're doing well. Sing along if you know the words. But it's a fun day to be a fan of the Maccabees. 72-46 as Terrell loses the ball there. Elaine Washington has the ball for Old Westbury. 12:21 left to play. Samuels with Jeffrey Owen on him, and Jeffrey Owen just has seen some big moments. Kind of seems that Elliot Steinmetz kind of is able to find that quick fix very easily. And obviously he saw something he didn't like, and he quickly started playing Jeffrey Owen quite a bit in this game. And that one's no good, and Hayone comes down with the rebound. But we've seen Jeffrey Owen quite a lot in this game. He didn't start, as here goes Leifer. He fakes, goes in, and up, and that's good. Gabe Leifer, his 5th and a half, he has 22 points.
I mean, how many big men can you see that can Euro step like that? He fakes the three-pointer, drives in, the defender sets himself up for a charge, and he says, excuse me, I'm going to go this way, and just steps right past him. Amazing.
Baskey missed that one, but Gabe Leifer just, it's hard to kind of describe what he's able to do as a ball player. Just a lot of fun to watch, and you kind of feel like you're witnessing history by watching Gabe Leifer's play.
Though he does pick up the foul here on the defensive end.
11:35 left to play, 74-46. So once again, they're nearing that 30-point lead. They haven't quite been able to elapse it.
But hey, in the 20 to 30 range, you're very confident, you're very happy. No problem with that. Coach Steinmetz is very okay winning by 20 points.
I think Coach Steinmetz is very okay winning by however many.
That's true.
Whether
a win is a win.
1 point or 50, a win is a win is a win is a win. As I always like to say. Simcha Halpert bringing up the ball for the Max. 11:30 left to play. He gives it over to Owen. Owen looked like he maybe wanted to drive in with it, but he doesn't. It's over to Hayone. Hayone posting up, gives it over to Leifer. Leifer's been the hot hand so far this game. He sends it, dishes it out to Owen. Owen finds Terrell down low. Terrell jumps, puts it up. That's good. It rolled in. Barry can give him 2. And it's back up to a 28-point lead. 11:07 left to play here in the second half.
Yeah, and this guard takes advantage of any type of mismatch. Bigger guys, he'll drive in on them. The smaller guys will post them up, and that post move was easily finished.
Hayone commits the kicking foul on McDonald, so McDonald's going to go up and take his try at some foul shots.
I think they changed it to a foul on the ground.
Excuse me.
Foul on the ground, yes. Foul on the ground as we have Gabe Leifer taking a quick break to a applause by his teammates. Tal Guetta coming in to sub him out.
So it's Guetta, Hayone, Halpert, Jeffrey Owen, and Terrell. Samuel looking for what he can do. He's blocked by Owen, and the Jeffrey Owen faithful were glad to see that one.
Yeah, and they're shaking their finger like Dikembe Mutombo. Man, that kid can jump.
That was Shakiro Samuels who tried with that one, and it's sent into Elaine Washington. Guetta taking him. He tries a 3. No good, and it hits that pole. And last game, obviously, we saw that no play with that pole. Clearly here they saw it.
The inbounding has been a little bit off. Another wild pass. Torello able to gather it together.
Simcha Halpert has the ball. Gives it over to Terrell. Terrell to Guetta. Back over to Terrell. Terrell with the spin and go. And Ryan Terrell making his presence known here in the second half. That's his 10th and a half.
Yeah, he's been really heating up. And now his post moves and his inside game. That will see if it opened up his long ball shot as
Elaine Washington looking spiffy there with the up and roll. And it's a 78-50 lead with 10-16 left to play here in this contest.
Yeah, they had that 30 mark, but back down to 28 now.
Terrell with Elaine Washington, a cutting pass to Jeffrey Owen, and that's nifty. Barry can give Owen 2. As Elaine Washington goes up and is fouled, and he'll head to the foul line. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Yeshiva University Maccabees Basketball, brought to you by Max Live. And a thank you to our sponsors, LK and Camp Step It Up. 10 minutes left to go in this contest. Fans here are smelling just a little bit. It's not just the smell of that fresh challah in the oven. It's also the smell of the verge of a victory, which would lead them to the Skyline Conference Championship.
Yeah, we see a quick Maccabee 30-second timeout, the first one they called this game. This might be an opportunity to let some of the bench players come in now. Up 30 points with 10 minutes left. Coach Steinmetz is very reluctant to use his bench, but we'll see what he ends up deciding to do.
And this is just a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for us.
Oh,
we have a great time over here.
Always have a great time here in the booth.
In the booth. In the Max Live booth. Oh, so this is a perfect opportunity for me to thank Binyamin Zerman.
Oh, come on.
I mentioned it in the pregame, but this is going to be Binyamin's last hurrah. He's not done yet, but this is going to be his last called game of a Maccabees game.
Yeah. I mean, unless they send me down to the NCAA Division III tournament, which is still possible.
Still possible. So unless that happens, still possible. I'm not sure with your work schedule if that's practical.
It would have to be really
You're a hard guy. You're a hard guy to lock down. We know that. But I want to particularly think now. I've been a part of this club or a student-led organization. Excuse me. I've been part of this student-led organization for about a year now, and I didn't know Binyamin when he started out, but I know what a class act Binyamin is as a broadcaster. So I just want to thank Binyamin for always wanting to come back and be part of Max Live, and it's a real privilege to call games with you. And I'm looking forward to potentially calling games with you. Down the road.
For sure, David, and thanks for kind of getting me out of retirement. Some great retirees, they need that inspiration to come out, and you kind of pushed me to come back out. Man, I'm so happy that I got to be here and watch this Maccabees game as they've played just about perfect basketball.
Alan McDonald missed that three, but it's Pedro Marquez now. He takes one more step up for that one. It's no good. They missed two straight. But a big play for the newcomer, Jason Robinson. That putback play gives the Old Westbury Panthers 2 points. It's taken back by them. Elaine Washington, he's looking what to do. He goes up with it, no good. Taken back by Samuels, and now Jeffrey Owen has the ball trying to fight for it, and they're going to call a jump ball going down for the Maccabees.
Yeah, and Jeffrey Owen there kind of waited a little too long on that rebound. He saw the defenders coming, couldn't make a quick enough decision. Should have passed that ball a little bit sooner to avoid that jump ball.
9:08 left to play. Max up 80-53.
Halpert now inbounding the ball. The press is on from the Old Westbury Panthers.
Terrell looking up court. He goes up, takes all of it by himself, gives it over to Donnie Katz. They're going to call the offensive foul on Terrell, number 11.
Before the pass, yeah, that's... You usually see those offensive charge calls when you go up for it yourself, but sometimes when you're looking to pass, you don't realize that the defender's standing in front of you. I think that's what happened there.
9:02 left to go, and if you want to catch the end of this one, you still have a little time. So if you're close by, come tune into the Max Stern Athletic Center. Otherwise, tell your friends and family to log on to maxlive.com and just have a good time watching us. Enjoy the video feed and enjoy our voices.
Hey, and some great Max basketball. 80-53.
That kind of takes a back seat to our broadcasting.
That's true. That's for sure. Broadcasting first, as to do some court cleaning, make sure there's no slippery spots. Players could get hurt. It's interesting. They're at 80 points already right now, David. 9 minutes to go. Do you think they get over 100 or under 100? Let me hear a prediction.
I'm going to say over 100. I'm going to say 103.
103.
I like that.
I'm going to go 107.
Okay. Okay, I like that call. I respect that call. Andrew Buskey has the ball for Old Westbury. Halpert on him, and he's denied. The referee getting a little bit upset, and his fellow referees asking for help there. Haven't seen that too often, but
you gotta love that. So that'll happen. The men in black and white are working together. That's one team. The two refs didn't know it came on the third ref. He did not look like he had a good angle, but he made that call with a little bit of confidence, and that's why they followed his say, though I'm not sure that was the right call.
Max come down with the ball. That was a missed opportunity from Alan McDonald. Simcha Halpert gives it over to Donnie Katz. Terrell, who's cutting, fakes a shot, tries sending it down to a cutting Simcha Halpert, but to no avail. And it'll be Maccabees ball. 8:25 left to play here in the game.
Yeah, the second half has gone all the Maccabees' way.
And now it's taken back by Old Westbury, and they almost
threw it in their own basket.
That was Jason Robinson who almost put it in his own basket. That would have been we might have ended up on SportsCenter tomorrow night.
Yeah, that definitely would have made them not top 10. I mean, there was no reason to throw it that high or that close to the basket.
But luckily, it didn't go in, and we'll stay off of the national radar for now. Who knows what could happen in these remaining 8 minutes.
I will say, if the Old Westbury Panthers are able to make a comeback now, that would make it onto SportsCenter.
Correct. I can't dispute that.
For sure. So, hey, we still have a chance to be on SportsCenter.
And that would be a privilege.
100%.
Tal Guetta misses his first. Tal Guetta, the senior from Calabasas, California. One of those LA folk.
Yeah, good free throw shooter. Didn't take so many shots from the free throw line, but shooted right around a 70% clip.
And Guetta just kind of, he gives you that solid defensive and pretty good offensive contributions.
Yeah, he spreads the court as a shooter. He plays hard on the defensive end. He's one of those role players where he's not asked to do too much, but his role is just as important as many of the other players.
Similar to last game, Alan McDonald taking matters into his own hands. And he put that one in as here goes Lifer, 4-3. No good, taken down by the 6'7" Terrell. Here goes Lifer again. Bang! Barry gave Lifer 3 points and put an 84th point on the board for the match.
Yeah, that first one, he wanted that ball back. He felt like he had that shot. Terrell does a great job crashing the boards and gives him another opportunity.
Marquez looked to respond, and that's no good. Taken down by that solid play of Guetta. As Old Westbury is now really trying to force things, but it's really the Maccabees forcing things as Terrell goes up.
Great pass by Lifer. After he got the pass from Guetta off that rebound, throwing it all the way down court for an easy 2.
Lifer at 25 points right now. He's going to look to elapse that 30-point mark, and he comes down with the rebound. It seems like he might even have 30 rebounds at the end of this contest.
Definitely is over 20 at this point, and hey, a 30-20 game is quite impressive.
Terrell driving. We've seen him driving a lot this game, and he's going to be fouled. A lot of collision action there from Pedro Marquez. 31-point lead, 86-55, 6:46 left to play in this Skyline Conference semifinal.
Coach Steinmetz now hulling up the guys. Wonder what he's saying. If only I could read lips better. Something I need to work on.
Well, isn't it something we all need to work on? Terrell sinks that one.
Always used to struggle with that. Girls would be mouthing words to me in class. I just had no idea what they were trying to tell me.
Story of my life, and maybe I didn't want to know what they were telling me, to be honest. But I still have that problem nowadays. I like to hear sounds. I don't really make out what people are saying when they're speaking like that.
Yeah, it is definitely.
It's quite difficult.
Yeah, very difficult. And hats off to the people that are able to do it very well. It is quite a talent, something you should not take for granted.
Terrell hit those 2.
88. Now we talked about 103, 107 as our predictions.
And it's looking more like your 107 is a little bit more likely now, as they would only need 15 in this last 6 minutes, excuse me.
I'm not surprised that I'm right. Happens a lot.
Yes, it sure does. Elaine Washington at the line. He goes up with it, no good.
Yeah, on the Old Westbury side, this is kind of a tough pill to swallow. It's your semifinal game, a lot of seniors on this team. To go down by 33 points, it's not even close.
And this is a good team, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they just didn't come out to play as well as the Max. And you can blame it on fatigue, you can blame it on the matchup, but
one thing I'm kind of looking for here is just the matchup in and of itself. I mean, this has just not been a favorable matchup for Old Westbury so far this season. YU handling them quite well as Terrell does it one more time. Barry could give him 2.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same story that we saw in the regular season. A lack of defense on the Old Westbury end, and they just haven't been able to match up with the scoring of the YU Max.
Alan McDonald, who did the same thing the last time they played, just kind of taking matters into his own hands, as that's deflected and intercepted. Here goes Elaine Washington with Terrell on him. He throws it down. That's Elaine Washington, and now that's the second throwdown of this game that we've seen. Elaine Washington, only 6'3", but he can throw down quite well. Here goes Donnie Katz, up and good, and a foul. He's going to head to the line to try to at least make it a 3-point play.
Yeah, and a great play there, drawing the contact, not being afraid of that contact. going up with a lot of strength. It looked like it didn't even bother him.
Donnie Katz, the junior, one of the leaders of this team from Baltimore, Massachusetts. Maryland, excuse me. Excuse me. The fatigue is lying into me now.
Yeah.
Baltimore, Maryland.
I've never heard of Baltimore, Massachusetts.
Baltimore, Massachusetts is actually a little town on the outskirts of Massachusetts.
Ah, did not know that. Definitely not as famous as the one in Maryland.
For sure not. Nor is it the hometown of Donnie Katz. And a lob up to Tal Guetta, who goes up with it. He's not going to throw it down, but Guetta making his presence known here in this SKYLINE Conference semifinal. 95-60, Max up by 35, 5:37 left to play here in the game.
Yeah, and this is when you get the question sometimes, you know, are they rubbing it in? Are they running up the score? You know, you don't want to kind of, you know, come across as, you know, the jerks kept scoring when the game was over.
The question is, where do you draw a line in terms of a big lead and trying to cushion that lead and assure that you're going to come away with that victory? And that's kind of, you know, the unwritten question of sports in general. Where do you draw a line? Where do you say, and especially in a playoff game, where do you start drawing a line? Where do you say that 35, 40, 45 points are enough?
And you never want to take the pedal off the metal. Pedal off the metal. Yeah,
that was right. That was correct.
You never want you want to keep your foot on the gas and to keep, you know, challenging you guys to compete at a high level and to play with their hearts out. So to tell them, you know, take plays off or, you know, don't, you know, relax and don't give it their all, it could be sending confusing messages, and especially when you look into the next game and when you got to come back out there with a new score, with a new team, you want to kind of keep that energy and focus that you had throughout this game, and that's why I think Coach Steinmetz does not play a lot of his backups and does not ever ease up on a lot of these teams.
We cover YU Max ball, but I just want to give one shout out to Alan McDonald, the star from Old Westbury, who is graduating after the season. So it's been a pleasure watching him play these past couple of years. Thank you for what you've done for the SKYLINE Conference as Leifer goes up again. That's good! This is getting ridiculous. Barry, give him 3 more, but this is absolutely nuts. Gabe Leifer putting on a clinic here in this SKYLINE Conference semifinal.
And you just saw Vice President Joseph. He said, you know, unbelievable. This kid, he put his hands up like, you know, how can you stop him?
Here he goes, one more time. No good. I'm not sure, Binyamin, I'm truly not sure the reaction of this crowd. There may have been people storming the court after this one.
Yeah.
That was absolutely nuts.
Yeah. And now you get the MVP chance raining down on him. Man, this kid can ball.
And what's great about this team is, honestly, if Terrell had the night that Leifer had, he'd be getting those MVP chances off.
Yes,
and
sir.
Terrell's having quite the night himself. So there's nothing to be worried about. As Old Westbury takes it in, and it's good. Ryan Terrell bringing up the ball. 4:23 left in between the Max and what could be their second straight SKYLINE Conference Championship, and Simcha Halpert, who's gone a little bit unnoticed here with all the thunder and lightning that Terrell's been doing, excuse me, that Leifer's been doing. Simcha Halpert with a seamless looking
floater in the lane.
Floater in the lane, as Binyamin thankfully fed me that one.
I gotcha. We got a backcourt violation now, and I think timeout Old Westbury.
Once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors, LK and Camp Step It Up. And the update now, hopefully we are not getting ahead of ourselves here and not something that we kind of want to jinx. You know.
But almost certain now, up 37 points with just 4 minutes to go.
Hopefully College of Old Westbury can hold them to 3 more, and I can win the side of our little wager that we placed forth just a couple minutes ago. But in case anybody's wondering, there will be transportation. Per Greg Fox, the assistant athletic director, there will be transportation on Sunday in the event that they play Farmingdale.
So again, if Purchase wins, we're back here in the Max Stone Athletic Center. We'll have another amazing home crowd. But hey, the Max travel well. That's something that is well known in the SKYLINE Conference. I am expecting a big crowd to be out there in Farmingdale if we do need to go there.
And once again, we'll be covering that game in the event the Max are in it. We will be bringing you special coverage regardless of where we are, as Halpert misses that one, a little bit too hard. but we will be traveling if need be to Farmingdale.
Gotta love that versatility in Max Live. We can do it on the road and at home. As now Coach Simons is looking to his bench. Under 4 minutes, we have our first 2 bench players coming in.
Caleb Molobsky and Kevin Boker. Kevin Boker being a big part of this team for his time in NYU, the senior, and Caleb Molobsky, who is marked down as a sophomore. So he's one of the big young guys that this Max team has got to look forward to for the future couple of years.
Yeah, and they refer to Caleb as Lob City. That's his nickname on the team, and if you get to see him play, you'll understand why.
Terrell over to Leifer. Leifer now just having fun with it. He sends it out to Donnie Katz for that 3. No good. As Terrell tried getting that rebound, but to no avail. Chase Johnson comes down with it. Defense chance coming out from this crowd. Who
gotta love that. It's a 35-point game and you still get the defense chance. That's just amazing.
See, regardless of the lead, these in playoff games in sports, these last couple minutes are going to feel like generations. But we're looking forward to celebrating as Ryan Terrell comes out to a standing ovation from the crowd.
Here come the rest of the Max starters coming out. We got a full hockey substitution now.
They have me on my feet. I'm giving them a round of applause. Gabe Leifer finishes with close to 30. Ryan Terrell does his part. It's an 100-65 lead for the Max as they're looking to advance to the SKYLINE Conference Championship. Stanley Baker goes up with it. No good. That was going to be 2 shots anyway. Be sure to tune in on Sunday. If the Max are in the championship, we'll be right here about a half hour before game time with live coverage. And we will hopefully be presenting a championship coming back to YU for a 2nd straight year.
Yeah, and you know, they had the target on their backs at the beginning of the season. The Max had to fight through some adversity. And they are already now taking transportation from both campuses to this game. Man, I'm excited for Sunday.
And you know, Greg Fox just right on the call. That's the efficiency of this athletics department here at Yeshiva. Caleb Molobsky looking to get his first playoff points of his career, and that's just out. It rolled around just a little bit, hit off both sides of the rim. And there goes McDonald, who's going to play his last couple minutes. Again, sad to see him go. But a nice collegiate career for Alan McDonald. Here comes Eitan Halpert, brother of Simcha. Kevin Boker, the senior, goes up and is fouled, and will head to the line for 2. And as for the last 2 minutes, no Max points have been scored, so I still may hold well to my wager of 103 points for the Max.
Yeah, my 107's getting a little bit worrisome. Still got 2:13 left.
And now one of my good friends, one of the friendliest guy on campus, Sam Muscles Mandel, checks into the game. If you catch him before the game, he's throwing down, so I don't believe he's dunked yet this year, but don't be surprised if he has an open lane. He's going to throw it down for us.
Yeah, that kid can really fly. One of the best athletes on this team, still trying to round out some other parts of his game to get some meaningful minutes.
Sammy joined this team last season as Boker hit his 2nd. It's a 101-65 lead. 2:07 left to play. Samuels has the ball for Old Westbury. Gives it over Chase Johnson now to Buskey, excuse me. Buskey sinks that one, and it's a 101-68 lead for the Max. Under 2 minutes left to play. Caleb Molobsky down low, sends it over to Hode, who couldn't quite corral. It's going to be Old Westbury ball, but this one's winding down.
Yeah, remember Justin Ho, we discussed in the pregame, the hero from last year's championship game, went 6 for 6 in the first half from three-point line, had 18 points in that first half, and helped propel the YU Max to victory.
And speaking of Hode, Justin Hode himself, we'd like to thank our sponsor, LK. That's his father.
The Hodes have always been a very big part of YU basketball. Both Lior and his brother, the number 2 and 3 all-time leading scorers in YU. Jordan, his eldest son of Lior, was a starter here for many years, and now you have Justin and Tyler still on the team.
Fans are now getting a little relentless. They want this thing to end. 1 minute left to play. There goes Caleb Molobsky, and he will get some playoff points. That's 103 now for the Max, and I might have been spot on. Under a minute left to go.
Yeah, and the sweat is starting to come off my brow. 103 is looking better and better.
48 seconds left until the promised land. Stanley Baker has it for Old Westbury. That's no good. 40 seconds. Sammy Mendel over to Boker. Back to Sammy. He goes up. No foul called. 32 left to play. .25 left to go here in this game, and the Maccabees want to advance to the Skyline Conference Championship. 20 seconds left to go. It's a 103-70 lead. Misha Nifnasadar chance start as this one looks like it's going to come to an end very soon. 20.1 seconds left to go. Old Westbury inbounding. .15 seconds left. Stanley Baker puts it up, no good. 10 seconds left. They're gonna hold it. The Maccabees are heading back to the promised land and will play in the Skyline Conference Championship for the second straight year.
Wow, what an incredible game. 103-70. The YU Maccabees played their game. They dominated from the start. This was a hard-earned victory, and they are now on to the promised land. As you said, the conference championship game against the winner of Farmingdale State vs. Purchase, which is happening later tonight.
We're gonna, we haven't done it yet this season. I'm gonna try to get someone up here to come speak to us. Stay tuned. We're gonna hold on just for a couple minutes. I'm gonna try to corral us maybe Gabe Leifer to come speak to us on the broadcast.
As we have Gabe Leifer saying, giving his hugs and kisses to his family members coming out to support him. Some of the greatest group of families that we have here at YU, they all come out strong to support their son and their cousin and their, grandson. The whole Leifer family is a strong presence here at the game. And Gabe, a lot of hugs, a lot of high fives. What a heck of a game he had.
Well, we got him, Gabe Leifer in the booth now. Congratulations, you're going to the conference championship. Gabe, obviously, you know each other for a long time.
Yeah.
How does it feel like? What's it like, second straight year going to the conference championship?
It's an amazing feeling. It's a long year. Last year I started in January. This year I started from the beginning. It's all those mornings, 6 a.m. in the beginning of the year. You work all up to it. We started off rough, then we went on a big winning streak, and then we lost on 2 close games, and we were really, we thank God we had a bye because we had a week to gather ourselves, and it feels great to go back to the championship. All we need is one more.
What did Coach Steinmetz tell you before this game, and how did you guys prepare? What was necessary to prepare for this Old Westbury team?
Defense wins championships.
I like that. And what's the plan for Sunday? It looks like you're either going to play Purchase, who you lost to last week, Farmingdale, who you lost to just 2 days before that. So it's a tough road ahead.
Yeah.
But what are you guys going to do to beat one of these 2 teams who you just lost to just a week ago?
We're going to enjoy Shabbos, and then we'll have to worry about it after. But whatever we need to do to win, that's what we're going to do. One more game.
Thanks for joining us, Gabe. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
We'll be back Sunday afternoon. From wherever the game is, you can tune in to maxlive.com. Thank you so much for logging on. We'll catch you next time. Have a great day and a great Shabbos.